is an advanced class, ladies. Advanced class.
Okay, ladies, this one's for you. Is it possible to invite men to approach you without even saying a word? Stay tuned. Hi, this is Damon from NLP Gym. Neuro-linguistic programming is the study and the technology of creating the life you desire. And for the past several years, I've been studying and mastering NLP in order to create the life that I desire, and also now to help you create the life that you desire. So if that sounds good to you, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Is it okay for a woman to approach a man? We're gonna stay tuned for that. In this video, we will get to that. A few weeks ago, I put out a video for men about overcoming approach anxiety so that they can meet women. I'm also putting together a program, an online training, to help men do exactly that. Now, I got a lot of pushback, I lost a lot of subscribers over that, but I gained a lot of new subscribers. And I think the most extraordinary thing was that about a fourth, maybe a third of the people who pre-ordered that program were women wanting to overcome the same fear and also wanting to meet more men. And I even got questions like, well, how do I make myself more approachable so that men will approach me? And so I have some tips and techniques for women now to be more approachable to men, and I have an expert, Lulu, who's going to help confirm or maybe even disagree with what I say about this. I'm going to start off by what I would tell women, okay? If I'm looking to approach women, if I see that they have kind of a tight looking face because the muscles in their face are tense, and this is quite common, I think a lot of women don't realize that they're walking around like this because they're thinking about something else. They're walking around, maybe they're shopping, maybe they have to get from one place to the next, and they're lost in their own little world. They're in their head somewhere. And a lot of times this creates tension in their face. And if I see a woman like that, I'm a lot less likely to approach her because it tells me that she's tense, she's got something else on her mind. Now, I have done it, I have approached in those times, and it's about 50-50. Sometimes they welcome it. They welcome having some relief from whatever it is that they were thinking about. In some cases, they're just like, get out of my way. I didn't ask for you to come near me, and I've got other things to do. So if your face is tense, relax your face. That'll make you more inviting. The other thing is when women are walking fast. If they're walking they're just maybe in a grocery store or in a department store, mall, walking down the street. If they're walking fast, I'm a lot less likely to approach because I feel like she's in a hurry and I don't want to stop her from getting where she wants to go. Now again, I have done it, I have approached, and it's about 50-50. Sometimes they weren't really in a hurry. So they were welcoming of my presence, and sometimes they were in a hurry and they were kind of like, duh, like you didn't get that I'm in a hurry, like get out of my way. Even though they might have been nice about it, they were kind of impatient. So if you're walking fast, and if you're walking fast with a tense face, I'm really not likely to approach, and I think that goes for most men. They're not likely to approach. And then the other thing, and I'm not even sure why this is, if you're sitting down, I'm less likely to approach than if you're standing up. So if you're in a social situation and you want men to approach you, I suggest standing up. It feels just easier for me to walk up to someone who's standing, and if they don't want me there, it's so easy to just walk away. But when a woman is sitting down and I have to like lean forward and talk to her that way, or I have to go and sit down next to her or ask her if I can sit down next to her, now we're kind of stuck. She might even say no, or she might not want me there just because she's going to feel like she's stuck there, and that getting up is a sign of like all-out rejection. So I would say stand up, relax your face. If you're walking, slow it down. And look around, like look interested in your surroundings. If a woman's head is down and she's looking down and she has a tight face and she's walking fast, that's the time I'm least likely to approach her. But if she's up, her head is up, her eyes are bright, she's looking around, her face is relaxed, she looks relaxed, that tells me she's inviting in her surroundings. She's inviting in that information that's happening around her, and then I'm more likely to go and approach her. So like even if there's a more attractive woman who has her head down and she's a little tense, and I see another woman who maybe not physically is as attractive, but she looks open and she looks inviting and she looks happy and nice, that is attractive. So I'm going to gravitate to her.
I really resonate with the part when you said sitting down, because sitting down is usually a signal of me not wanting to socialize much. If in a place where a lot of people are standing up in the social situation, sitting down is like, I'm tired, I'm done, because when sitting down, we're kind of shrinking our personal space. You have less, you occupy less space. So, and the thing about you saying relax, and I'm really glad that you're giving cues about like your speed of walking and your faces and the tension on your face and things like that. I agree with that. That's really, really important. And if you're a woman, if you're looking out for dating, coaching, or advice, you probably see, and I see this very common on Facebook, a lot of coaches talk about being more feminine, being in your feminine energy. And I actually asked Damon a lot of questions about being feminine, because in my culture I was raised to think that a woman being assertive is not feminine, and a woman being too smart or intelligent is not feminine. So I was also on my personal journey about thinking what really is being feminine for a woman. And from my perspective and how I experimented with this, there's a very, very easy way of becoming more feminine, and at the same time it will probably slow down your speed of walking and ease the tension on your face and relax and make you open, is that whenever you get off from work or raising children or whatever the task that you're so concentrated on, and you're really in your head and you're in the planning mode, usually in that kind of situations you will feel a lot of energy in your head, very focused over here. A very simple way to do that is just shift the focus, as if you're paying attention not to your head and shoulders, but you're shifting down into your heart, your stomach, your gut, and even better, your pelvis. If you can put your attention on your pelvis and your hip area, you will really notice that you're switching from a doing mode into a being mode. Maybe your face will be more relaxed, you enjoy your surroundings more, and you be in your body more. So I think that's a very easy way. From your perspective, from a man's perspective, what do you think is feminine? Like, what is this feminine energy thing? How do you tell if a woman's feminine?
So first of all, I am very attracted to feminine energy. That does not mean that I'm not attracted to intelligence and confidence and assertiveness. I actually am very attracted to assertiveness, confidence, and intelligence. I'm attracted to it when women do it well, which means they don't try to be like a guy and do it. When women are trying to act like a guy's way of being assertive because they've seen guys do it, and they think, well, I'm just as good as a man. There's no question about it. We're all equal. We're not going to play that that game back and forth. But what I see women doing sometimes is their assertiveness is not assertive in a feminine way. It's assertive in trying and emulating how a guy might be. So women are very, very subtle, and I really appreciate that. And to me, that I often equate subtle with feminine. So when a woman is very subtle about her approach, and we talked about this in a different video, when she comes and strikes up a conversation with me, and I'm wondering, is she striking up a conversation with me because she's attracted to me, or is she really wanting to know some sort of information? What usually becomes pretty clear later, but it's that sort of wondering, is she into me, or what is this about? That subtlety is very feminine, but it's also very assertive for her to strike up a conversation with me. So I like that. I find that really good to do if she wants to catch my attention. And then with being confident, just meaning she's comfortable in her body, to me, that just frees that feminine energy. Like, it's going to come out and express itself however she is, like individually. So if she's just comfortable with herself, she's not trying to impress anybody, she's not trying to be something she's not covering up her insecurity. Like, sometimes when a woman is nervous and she can just call it out and just say, I'm a little nervous right now or something, even after I've approached her, if she just comes right out and says that, I think that is what confidence is, being able to just come out and say it. And it's, to me, when a woman is just comfortable in her body, that feminine energy naturally comes out, and it's naturally very attractive. We already talked a little bit about physiology. What I want to talk about now is how physiology affects state. So Tony Robbins This is one of the things he talks about probably on almost every one of his talks or one of his programs, and this comes directly from NLP. He learned this from NLP. NLP is always talking about or always going into being in resourceful states, and part of being in a resourceful state is how your physiology is. So what comes first, the state or the physiology? It's hard to really know, but if you're in a bad state or if you're not in a very positive state and you're not in an approachable state, chances are your physiology is probably cut off. If you look more like this and you're kind of down and cut off and your arms across, you don't look very approachable, and you probably are in a state of not being very approachable. However, if you're kind of more open like this and more like shoulders back and head up, what kind of state does this put you in? It probably puts you in a state of being more open to people, more approachable, and it'll make you feel that way, and you will be communicating that to the people around you. So if you think about somebody who's easier to approach, somebody who's kind of open like this, or somebody who's sort of cut off like this, or got their arms crossed and their head down. And you can even try that out. See what kind of state that puts you in versus this.
Yeah.
And if you're looking around and you're smiling at people and you're making eye contact with people, not only are you communicating to them that you're approachable, it will make you feel more approachable. So it all works together, and it'll make it a lot easier when you put your physiology that way. So if you're feeling insecure and you're like, oh, I would like people to approach me, but you're doing all this, well, you're communicating that you're not approachable, and you're probably feeling that way. So just change the physiology, and likely the state will change with it. Guys are very literal and concrete, and though a woman might look very approachable, they might not approach just because they are thinking to themselves, well, she looks very approachable, but I don't know if she wants me. And guys can get kind of insecure like that, or if you're even dropping hints, he might not pick up the hints. And I know a lot of women say, well, if you can't pick up the hints, then I'm not interested in him. I think that's kind of a bullshit excuse. So what I encourage women to do is I really encourage women to approach men. Now, if you do this a little too aggressively, you might scare him off. Like, he might not like that energy. The other problem might be that he is so not used to being approached that he might not know how to act. And what you might need to do in that case is just hang in there for about 2 minutes and let him get accustomed to the situation. Now, the other thing I would say is you don't want to do it in a desperate way. And I think this is really essentially what women have a problem with approaching men. Because in most cultures, you're not supposed to. And you're taught that you're being desperate or easy if you approach men. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous. You can do it in a desperate way. You can do it in a needy way, and in a way that communicates that you're being easy, but it doesn't have to be done that way. And the way that I would recommend approaching a man is to just tell him you found him attractive, or there was something he said or something he did, and you thought to yourself you want to meet him. This doesn't mean that you're ready to jump into his bed. It just means that you want to know more about him. And if you can communicate that in the approach, that you're just interested in meeting him and knowing more about him, he's not going to think that, oh, I've got this, or she's desperate and she's needy, so she's, I've got this, so I can go and check out my other options. No, he's going to, as long as you're putting it across that you're just interested in knowing more about him, this is a great way to approach. And I would take it even further and say the one thing that we are missing so much in our culture, at least Western culture, is touch. We're taught over and over when we're kids to keep our hands to ourselves, but touch communicates so much, and you can communicate a lot to a man, and you will definitely get his attention if you strike up a conversation and you just do something like, so what do you think about that? This will light a man up. He will feel your touch, and this will send lots of signals and messages to him that you are interested, but it's not a desperation interest. It's if you're touching somewhere subtle like this. Now, I would even say that you can do your first approach just by touching a man. And I could just be like touching him on the arm and saying, wow, that's a nice suit you're wearing, or that's a nice shirt you're wearing. Or if some women are really into men's hands, like they see a man's hands and they just are really into that. So if you're one of those women, if you walk up to a guy and you don't even have to say anything, and you just grab his hand and do like this, and you just go, you have really nice hands. This will send him.
Oh my God.
This will communicate everything you want to communicate as far as
This is
your
an
interest.
advanced class, ladies. Advanced class.
No, but if you can pull this off, and I think you can, it's just a matter of staying in your body and staying confident and congruent. This will communicate what you want to communicate to him without seeming desperate or easy. And he will feel good about this, especially with the touch. And he will then feel like he has to then keep you going. Like, wow, okay, she's into me. She made the approach. Now I've got to step up my game. The other way might go that he gets really insecure and kind of backs away. And is probably not really the guy who's ready for you. But if you get a confident guy, who's probably the type of guy you're looking for, he's going to want to step up and meet that. He's going to be inspired by you, and this is going to motivate him. So this is, I think, a wonderful approach. Now, you don't want to just go up to any guy. You want to be in a safe social situation so that if he does turn out to be a little creepy or weird, you can get away from him and make sure that you're safe. But if you're in a good, safe social environment, this is an outstanding way to approach a man.
Before you pointed out to me that I was sending subtle signals, I wasn't even aware of that. So maybe we just do this, some women just do this instinctively.
I pointed out to her how she had actually approached me before I said anything. You okay with talking about
Yes.
that story? Okay, so we were at a workshop, and the teacher of the workshop brought his dog, and I like dogs a lot. Most people like dogs, right? So I went and I started petting the dog. She came over and started petting the dog too, and immediately I thought, okay, she's either just coming for the dog, which could be the case, or this could be a way of her trying to show her that she's interested in me. So I already knew my antennas were up. And for men watching this, you should be watching out for these things. Women tend to be very subtle this way.
I wasn't even aware of that.
And so, yeah,
it was
that's true.
unconscious.
I think a lot of women often aren't aware of how they're approaching men. And what happened was she happened to lean against my leg. Now, you don't touch people unless people you don't know, unless you're interested in them. So here she was.
That's his theory. I wasn't conscious of that.
Well, this is why touch is so powerful. And so she had never said a word to me. And she ended up leaning against my leg, and that let me know right away. And that's why I mentioned using touch. You don't even have to say anything. If you touch a man, and it can just be like on the leg or on the arm, it can be very, very subtle, that will get his attention. So right away I knew she was interested, and sure enough, I called it out later, which is a little risky, because if you have some nice, good sexual tension going on, that you actually want to build that up even more. But I went ahead and tried a risky tactic, and I just called it right out.
Straight ball.
Yeah, which was in a way was me taking the lead, and it all worked out right. But so she was approaching me, and most guys would have missed that, or they might have caught it, but then second guessed it and said, "Oh, I'm not. Wow, she's leaning against my leg. I don't know. I think she's attracted to me." So a lot of times guys will second guess themselves. So women, I would say, be a little more bold, not too subtle, because guys will not pick it up most of the time.
I agree. What you brought up, this desperate and needy, this is a very tough bind for a lot of women. Sometimes we do feel desperate or needy or insecure, and sometimes we feel an impulse that might have been acting out of desperate and needy and insecure. And the worst thing is for especially some women who get some dating coaching and people telling them, don't do that, don't do that. They end up internalizing that. We end up internalizing that, oh my God, I'm being too needy, I'm being too desperate, and we're attacking ourselves. But when we attack ourselves, we actually get even more insecure, because we don't feel good about ourselves when we attack ourselves. What I would advise is to turn that around and just approach ourselves with compassion and curiosity. And if I notice, I'm having this strong desire or impulse to approach this man, let me take a step back and see what that is about. Is that from a place of desire? Is that from a desperation or neediness? And if it is, it's okay. And you can look at what this is about and investigate into that. It doesn't have to be a source of your self-shaming and self-attack. I just want to say that because we can often easily go into that, and I've been through that process personally, and it's not helpful, the self-abuse part.
And last but not least, what I want to cover, because I get this question a lot from women, is how to let a man down easy. Now, I can speak from my own experience. Before I do that, ladies first. Tell me how in the past you've let men down easy in a way that they're basically letting you know that they're attracted to you, but you're letting them know that you're not interested.
My number one tactic is usually to avoid them. So in different kinds of subtle ways, I set a boundary. I would either look away, cut off contact, not let them see my face. If I was wearing more revealing clothes, I would put on like a jacket or a scarf covering up my body, or if just keep a physical space, move away, or talk to someone else, put my attention on something else.
Some men will get the hint. Some men will understand this. Some men will not. I can't emphasize enough that men do not get hints the way that women often get hints from other women. Men sometimes take a little bit longer. What men do typically appreciate is being very direct. So when women have told me after I've approached them that they appreciate my confidence or they appreciate the boldness of me approaching them, they might then say something like, I'm just not interested, or I have a boyfriend. And all of these have always been acceptable reasons for me to just let it go and not pursue them. I think the key thing is that when you validate a man by letting him know that he was very bold to just approach you out of the blue, and then you shift to, however, I'm not interested. If you don't do that validation part first, he might feel like, wow, I really put myself out there and she didn't respond well to it. And that might upset him a little bit, or that might make him feel more insecure. It might make him feel like he doesn't want to approach women anymore. And we don't really want that, right? We want more people to connect. We want men to politely connect or approach women. So you want to communicate what he did well. And what he did well is he had the guts to come up to you and introduce himself and be nice about it and not aggressive about it. And so validate that and then say, however, I'm just really not interested. I know I've always appreciated that. My final message here is look approachable, relax, be confident, be in your body, smile, make eye contact, open eyes, look interested in your surroundings, look interested in the people around you. Make sure you make eye contact with the man who you want to approach you. I would actually say don't make it for too long. If you hold a very strong gaze, it might actually make him feel a little insecure about approaching you, because I've had that happen where a woman's made really good eye contact and it's like, okay, it just feels too obvious to go and approach her. I've gotten over that now and I will definitely approach. But you hold a little bit, just long enough to let him know that you're interested. Women do this sometimes with me, and they'll hold the gaze just long enough. It's a little more than just a glance, but then they look away, and to me that's telling me, come talk to me. And then the other thing is I would recommend definitely approach men. I think men really enjoy it. Remember, it's going to be so new to him, he's not going to be used to it, so give him some time to get accustomed to you approaching him. And then again, you're checking him out. You're not telling him you're ready to get in bed with him, so you're not being desperate or easy. You're just telling him, hey, I'm interested in knowing more about you. And then give him the time to connect with that and then get to know you as well. Check out my website, nlp-gym.com. There you will find some free NLP training as well as some free hypnotic inductions. All you have to do is just download them to your phone, to your computer, to your iPad, and just let my voice take you to greater confidence and greater self-esteem. Also check out my Facebook page, like and follow, so you can find out whatever it is that I'm up to, whether that's new trainings I'm putting out or events or talks that I'm giving. And if you like this video, please click like right down here. And once again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Take care.
And you're not subtle. You're not subtle.
I'm not subtle.
You're not subtle. Yes.
But I think if you do it right, women appreciate very direct, being very upfront, very honest about what you want.
Yes. Yes.